a much nicer experience doing a introductory code along with a community of MVP clubbers, because now we get to talk about how we all do the thing,
Yeah.
as opposed to me being the only person in the room who's ever done it and my
Yeah.
word is law. Instead, you can say, Ryan, I wouldn't have done that. I do this, that, and the other thing. And I say, yeah, you're probably right, but it's my code along. So we're doing it my way. So the last and final setup thing after you get Klein is to get Gemini API key, and I believe that you do so at that link, aistudio.google.com. I think that's what they're choosing to call their kind of AI console. Yeah, I've used Google Workspace for stuff and Google Cloud and Firebase, and just Google has so many features that every single one of their dashboards is impossible to navigate, which is fine. Instead, it says, Claude, how do I do this thing? And it says, oh, go to this, that, and the other submenu. There you are. So yeah, exactly, Matt. I need to get in the habit of opening Claude in Chrome and just saying, where do I go next? Instead, I'm still old school, taking a screenshot, sending it to Claude Code and saying, where do I go next? That's funny because that was only possible for the last like 3 months, and I still I consider it old school now. The pace of evolution is getting ridiculous. I think Matt's risk tolerance is pretty high for these technologies, and he hasn't been burned yet, but he also put me at ease about dangerously skipping permissions, which is as dangerous as it sounds. Like, all right, so are we ready to grab our API keys? Do we have VS Code and Klein ready to go? I can switch gears back to my Google AI Studio. Their icon is terrible. So I don't know which tab it is. All right, so I'm going to switch what I'm sharing, unless somebody still needs to see Klein present something else. I'm going to go into the Google AI Studio tab. And Matt, are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just disable this API key as soon as this is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Matt said earlier today, an API key is a direct link between AI and your wallet. So you want to be careful with it. You also want to hide it from people, and never ever share it. So in this demo where I generate an API key and copy it before your very eyes, anybody with this recording is going to be able to look at that API key and say, oh, that's Ryan's API key. I could use AI on his money, but no, I'm just going to disable it after we're done. So not a problem. So aistudio.google.com, you sign in with a Google account, you agree to their terms and conditions, then you click Get API Key in the bottom left corner. And that gives you your API key. So there's my super nice API key for my coaching app, Get It Together. So I'm testing if Gemini can do the job. And it turns out not, like very much not. It's surprising. So it doesn't work as an AI coach who needs to keep people accountable to tasks and give suggestions, but it works as a coding agent. So that's all we need for today. I'm going to create an API key. I'm going to name it, link it to a project, which is kind of annoying. Demo Gemini. So it links it to a Google Cloud project. The you can just ignore that it exists after this.
At this
Demo
point,
Gemini
at this
2.
point when I was learning this, I was still just kind of just rotely following along, not knowing what the AIP is going to do and why. Or I'm like, copy this, paste this, put it there. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
Oh, but I know the value of it now. So I would say as we are doing the walkthroughs, just speak up and ask for clarity so that you can have a little bit more context around what you're doing as you're doing it.
So without this key, all of the AI services that get your request to finish a chat, add code to your project, they're all going to say, "Who are you? You're not paying for this. Get out of here." But when you add the key that says, "Put it on my tab," then great. So now they know to put it on your tab and just keep going. So I'm going to make the demo Gemini key. And actually, you know what? It's on the free tier, so who cares? And I can just click the copy API key button over here and no one has to see. So you've got the last four letters of my API key, but it's like 50 letters. So good luck cracking that to steal my free tier thing. So once you copy this key, you're ready to bring it back to Klein and set it up as one of your providers. Does anyone still want to see anything on Google AI Studio, or should I switch the share back to Visual Studio Code?
I'm good if you go back to VS Code.
Thank you. Once we get the AI set up, you can just ask the AI all these questions and I will become irrelevant. But until that time, I'm going to switch back to Visual Studio Code. And so one interesting part about Klein is it's integrated into your workflow, into your Visual Studio Code. I'm going to decline that. So you can see my recent tasks. The last time I used Klein was in May of 2025. Implement a website based on the following PRD. Wow, I'm going to do that. And it shows you how much you spent on each session. So way back when it started, it was mildly pricey. But you can see I have some $0 sessions too, because that was with the free key. And yeah, fun times. Look at all these old things. Uh, good memories. uh, yeah, sometimes you get comfortable with your agent. You just start conversations. Shit, shit, shit. We have an unending loop. What the fuck? And it's like, let me investigate. I'll do it. I spent $1 on that. All right. Probably don't need to go through my history. So with Klein, though, you can click the gears, and there's your API configuration. You can pick any of the API providers. So Klein lets you swap out between different providers of models, which can be really great because every week or so the internet comes out and says, Gemini 3 is the best for coding now. No, it's OpenAI 5.2 Codex. No, it's Claude 4.5 Sonnet. And so if you're used to using Klein as you work, you can just swap it out, punch in your API keys, got a tab everywhere, and then just try a session with it and see how it goes. So the friction between changing out models is very low when you're using Klein. In theory, Claude Code also works that way. I haven't tried it, but so I'm going to pick Gemini, and there's my Gemini API key from previous. So I guess I still have it from my last time I did this. But if you didn't have it, this is where you would paste your API key. So you click the gear icon, go into API configuration, pick Gemini as your provider, and paste in your API key. And then you can also pick the model. So there's a bunch of different Gemini models there. I'm not sure what the free tier is on all of them right now. I'm sure you could go to the Google site and check it out. Google API AI rates. It'll tell you the free tier of each model is X, Y, or Z. But basically, all right, there's not a free tier on Gemini 3 Pro. There is a free tier on Gemini 3 Flash Preview. And there's a free tier on Gemini 2.5 Pro. So I'm going to pick 2.5 Pro because that sounds hefty. Flash Preview sounds like it's in and out, bang, bang. So all of the providers have different tiers of models, and Flash sounds like the super fast, cheapest model.
Brian, how do you know this? How do you know about the tiers and what's?
Oh, I just Googled Google AI API rates, and I got to a site that I will paste in the chat. How do you choose that? Why? How do you know?
Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah, exactly, right? So, short answer is that site I'm looking at, but even then, I'm not reading that site. Our state-of-the-art multi-purpose model excels at coding and complex reasoning tasks. That sounds good to me, 2.5 Pro. But the real answer, how do you know all that, is you're in MVP club and everybody's talking about this stuff, and you're staying up to date because people are saying things and you listen to them. And so you just try out enough tools and patterns emerge. So in the Claude family, you've got Opus, the biggest model, the heftiest model. It's expensive. It codes extremely well. And at the bottom, you've got Haiku, which is the cheapest model. That's the one I use to power my AI app because I want Claude, but I don't want to pay for Opus. So I don't want to charge my users $50 a month. So it's a trade-off. You have to find out which model actually works for you. Nice part about Claude Code and Max subscriptions and whatnot is that they just kind of give you the highest until they stop giving you the highest, and then they give you the lower ones as they go. So when you're using Claude Code, you don't generally think about what model you're using. But with Klein, you absolutely do, because it's going to cost you a lot more or less depending on what one you use. So I'm going to pick 2.5 Pro. Its input is $2.5 per million tokens. Its output is $15 per million tokens. So not super cheap, but again, I think I'm on my free tier API key here. So I'm not too worried about actually getting charged. Enabling thinking can, part of an AI response could be the AI doing internal thoughts. It gets you better responses, but it costs more tokens. Yet another trade-off.
Sorry, this is where, again, I want the hand faster. Sorry. Ryan, is the thinking, I don't know the terminology, but is the thinking, is it the same as like you're going to see it, it's going to spell out like the reasoning or the thinking, it's going to explain that to you, correct?
Yes. So
there's some value in that if you want to know
how it arrived at its conclusions, yes. Or in some cases, if you want to feel good about yourself and see the AI saying, the user is right, I need to investigate this problem. You just like, yes. Good thought, Claude. Good thinking. The user is right. That's how I know if it's going to do something good or not, is I scroll up to where it started thinking, and if it doesn't say the user is right, I'm thinking, it's doing something wacky. It's not agreeing with me. So yes, that is where it reveals its internal monologue, and you can see why it did what it did. All right, so I'm just going to say done. And now in the bottom of Klein here, you've got Gemini 2.5 Pro. And our rubber is ready to hit the road. Let me know if you need me to go through any of the previous steps, or if you are all basically poised at your keyboards on the same step I am. You've got your prompts window there. You've got Gemini 2.5 Pro at the bottom of it. So this is a big innovation. Plan mode versus act mode. I feel bad for the Klein people because Claude Code just basically ripped them off. But in all of these agentic coding machines, they're going to have a plan mode and an act mode. And you want to start with plan mode basically every time you sit down. Describe what you want it to do, it will come up with the plan. If you're super clear about what you want to do, it's a small feature and you're using API, so it's costing you per usage, then go ahead and switch directly to act, because it's going to use up more usage and therefore more tokens and more dollars if you use plan mode first. But you get much better results and you spend a lot less time correcting it or realizing it's half baked and it didn't look at what you had already done before adding more things. So especially at the start of a project where all you have is the PRD, start in plan mode. Pretty much every time I start in plan mode. I started using it about a month ago and I haven't looked back. I toggle the task mode at every start. All right, so I don't know if in my PRD I mentioned a tech stack for mine or not. It's not looking like it, which makes sense. It's not really appropriate to a PRD, but sometimes I put them in there anyway because I already know what I want. So no, there's no tech stack mentioned. So great. Hi, Gemini. Let's plan out what tech stack makes the most sense. Oh boy, this is where mass text to speech, I'm just like envious of. Makes the most sense for this project. I want a quick MVP prototype that can easily run on my computer. I think like ask me any further questions if you need guidance. That's one of our pro moves. Telling the thing, ask me questions. I'm gonna guess it has its own preferences and it's just gonna go straight to the tech stack it likes. Most of the models have technical tools that they prefer and will just automatically spit out. So I don't think I'm gonna get much pushback from Gemini on this, but it's a place to start. And I think that makes sense as a first prompt. You'll notice I also have auto approve on here. So for a lot of tool usages, Klein will ask you, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do the other thing? And as you start, you really want to get used to saying yes or no. And you're paranoid about it destroying everything on your computer and changing everything. So usually you start by saying, okay, yes, you can read files. But if you want to edit a file or create a file or execute a command, you got to ask me first. So right now I have auto approve, so it never has to ask, can I read the PRD document? Of course you can read the PRD document. So I'm going to hit send on that, and off we go. So here's our first fateful prompt. It is planning, it's thinking. This bar is your context window. What this means is how many tokens worth, how much text is in the working memory of the AI about your current chat. So one thing that Gemini stands out for among other models is it has 1 million tokens in its context window. And so that's a lot. Claude is more like 100,000. It's a basic principle of all LLMs that at some point they stop remembering what you started talking about. And that's very, very bad for coding because it needs to stay consistent with what it's already done. So as this bar fills up, it's important to keep an eye on. And at some point, there's a sweet spot where you want to start a new chat and refresh your context entirely. It can be hard to let go of the previous chat because you think, this chat session has so much good stuff in it. I've told it so many good things, but it has forgotten all of them. You have to let it go and just start a new chat. Eventually, as it gets up to 1 million tokens and close to that, it's just going to stop being effective and start making up its own stuff. So it's better to just start a new chat. One of the big moves that Matt and I used to do on Klein in the early days is too many requests because it's in thinking mode. In 2.5 Pro, the quota is exceeded for free tier. All right. But one of the key moves when you're using Klein is if you're about to wrap up a chat, tell it to summarize where you're at so that you can start the next chat with a clean prompt. That's one of the golden moves is prompt for a prompt. So instead of just rambling your brain out in the session for the next chat, just ask the previous chat right before it dies, hey, can you write everything down so that when you're dead and gone, I can tell your inheritor what you should do next? And it'll say, okay, cool. Here's a good prompt to start the next session. And then great. You pull that, punch it into the next window, and you're good. P for P, prompt for prompt. I think the free tier on 2.5 Pro is just not going to work for plan mode because plan mode automatically sends out a bunch of little prompts at the same time, and it's just not happy with that. So I'm going to see if 3 Flash Preview can do it. So I'm going to cancel. Now I'm going to try to resume task and see if 3 Flash Preview. All right, it's reading the thing. All right, so while Flash Preview might not be as powerful, its free tier is more generous. So here's all of its thoughts. So it's showing you what it's read. It's used 23,000 tokens so far, which sounds like a lot until you realize 1 million tokens on Flash is like $3. It's costing me 2 cents, which is a little strange.
Ryan, I think that's a quirk of the Klein UI.
All right, so I'm not actually getting billed 2 cents.
I don't think so. This has come up every time I've used Gemini in Klein.
All right, so it tracks your usage, and Klein knows what the price is of usage. So it's saying, here's what you've spent, but in real life, I'm on the free tier. I have the free API key. They have no access to any credit cards whatsoever. So great. Based on the PRD, all right, so you can see it read 1 file. So I've only got 1 file. Based on the PRD, I recommend the following tech stack for a quick, robust MVP that's easy to run locally. Yep, AI loves Next.js. That's going to be your typical answer. It's the industry standard for rapid full stack development. Styling Tailwind, it loves Tailwind. You're going to see this in every app for the next 3 years. So like in my own project that I want to actually release into the world, I told it very much stop doing the generic Tailwind stuff because everyone's going to look at it and say, ugh, this is like every other app, which could be a good thing. So created the plan. Once you're happy with this stack, toggle to act mode and I can start scaffolding the project. So I'm going to hit act mode, but before I do, I'm going to ask, is everyone else still with me who's following along at home? All good. I'm in my coding window now, so I can't see people vigorously giving me thumbs up.
Sorry, I did a double thumbs up. Yes.
Thank you.
Problem.
You know, I should actually use a vibe coded tool that looks at my real time streams and tells me the vibe of people in the room without me having to look at them. So it's just like, you're losing them, Ryan. Focus. Ah, good. Double thumbs up. They're loving it. Whatever you're doing, do more. Okay, great. Like I'm sure that's one of the frontiers I haven't looked at is like real time stuff. So that in a meeting, the agent can say, "You've got 5 more agenda items and 2 more minutes. Get back on track." Like I need agents managing my meetings, saying, "You told them you'd follow up on this and you haven't." So like I need to explore that. I know they exist. My wife says they exist in Copilot stack, which freaks me out because I don't like Copilot, but. All right. So, yep, ready to go, ready to act. So it's auto approve reading and browser use, which is nice for like looking stuff up. But now it's got 9 plans. So it's got this to-do list that it's going through. And it's going to initialize the Next.js project with TypeScript, and boy, howdy, you don't know what else. So I'm expecting some files to start popping up, but I'm also expecting it to start asking me what to do. So you can, all right, so this is its own little internal checklist. Edit this markdown file to update your focus chain list. That's an interesting way to phrase to-do list. So my focus chain list has 9 things in it. And it doesn't look like it's doing anything right now. So toggle to act mode, execute your focus chain lists. Just do what you said you were going to do. And so here it is. So now I'm getting all this output.
Oh, there it goes.
All right, yeah, I'll start by doing this. Here's my plan. I toggled to execute. So toggling to act used to just like kick it,
Yeah.
but now evidently I have to say, go do the thing. Sometimes you can, if a chat goes off the rails, you can go back to a previous message and edit it and just like keep going from that point. But I don't find that's useful as much as it used to be. So all right, it read 1 file. It wants to read another file inside of library. Okay, fine. It wants to read something. I'll let it read whatever it wants. I don't know why it's. All right, I got the task chain directly. You denied initialization of the Next.js project. Would you prefer? What is
Did,
it?
did the auto approve options change that list? Is that list different now? Execute, say, well,
I don't think it is.
no? Okay. Just wondering why, like, you're not all of a sudden just getting that approve button
Yeah.
and it just goes. Like, is there some
You
other?
denied the initialization. I resent the implication that I denied anything. I trust you. Try again and I will approve, my friend.
This is malarkey. Bunch of malarkey.
Wants to execute this command. Great. Yes, run command. I accept.
There you go.
Now we're getting somewhere. So it's probably going to open up a terminal to start doing things in it. And that's why it's asking me permission. And while it does stuff, if it knows it's going to take a long time to start, I can say, great, proceed while running. Okay to proceed. Wants to execute this command. Yes. So yeah, it wants to respond to the prompt from my terminal saying, is it okay? And I can say, yes, it's okay. It opened up a new browser to do it. That's also
Yeah,
terrible.
why did you do that?
Why did it do that indeed? Okay, so it wants to just do it all at once now because it's learned. So this is a common pattern, honestly, of AI agentic tool users. Is it does a thing, it realizes that thing required human input, and now it's going to revise its commands so that it no longer requires human input. So often when it's trying to do terminal commands, it'll get it wrong the first 2 or 3 times and say, whoops, I need this flag. Whoops, turns out I needed that flag. Great, now it's working. So I'm just going to say, great, continue going. Try it until it works. I am curious why it opened a second thing, but okay. The directory demo task tastemaker contains files that could conflict. That doesn't seem right. Run command. I don't know why having a PRD file was upsetting to it. Run command.
Mhm.
Why does my directory need to be empty?
Did it want to create its folder by itself, your folder,
Yeah,
and create the structure on its own?
I can just initialize it in a folder called app and then move everything up. Which do you prefer?
Mm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I guess this is partially the price of using Gemini 3 Flash, which is the cheap, not smartest model. It's going to get it done. Like these are all sensible commands for it to be doing. It's just I don't know why it's freaking out about my having a single file in the folder already. But it looks like it's finally doing stuff. This looks like progress. Initializing project. All right. Proceed while running. So again, if there's a long running process, it can just say keep going and doing stuff while we wait. But since this is the creation of the project, I kind of need it to finish.
Now, usually, okay, so right now the view on the right side, we're looking at the PRD. Usually we watch the stream of the activity with the well, usually I watch the stream of the activity that client is going through.
Like this stuff.
Terminal, yeah.
All right, so it's installing a bunch of dependencies. It's installing our project. Called the app temp init because it was very confused.
Hmm.
Like it wanted to call the thing tastemaker, but then it found another project that started with the words tastemaker and didn't like it. But now it's moving the PRD inside of the folder and moving everything around, so now it's comfortable. So great, let's jump back to client and say, great, the create next app tool is very cautious. It refuses to start in a directory that isn't empty. I never knew that. Thank you.
Hmm.
So it renamed my file, it made a different folder, it moved things around, it got around that stupid rule that you shouldn't have that it can't work inside of a non-empty folder. So okay, great. I kind of understood what it was doing, but you saw what I did. I just hit accept and figured its way out. And it has been a grand total of 17 cents worth of intelligence used on this task. So now it's installing more stuff. It's exploring demo tastemaker. So it's on step 2, install dependencies. Execute step 2 now. It's like busy. So it's doing stuff. It's exploring the thing it just created. It's reading the files. It's understanding the folder structure. And so if you can't type, that means it's busy. You could always just cancel and say, I don't need to explore this. There's nothing in it that makes sense yet. And too many requests. So anytime it explores, that usually sends a bunch of simultaneous requests, and it doesn't like it. So please retry in 751 milliseconds. Gosh, I have to wait that long? hundreds of milliseconds. Resume, but do not explore the code base. It's just the start. There's nothing specific to our projects to be interesting.
That's good.
So yeah, just keep on going. Don't do it. That takes me back to though seeing the rate limit. That used to be our lives for many evenings. Was Claude, you're at your rate limit. Come back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yep. So it's thinking. To be honest, I'm not sure what it's thinking about because it's got a very clear install dependencies thing. I'm going to cancel it and say install the dependencies from step 2, please.
And I will say, as you vibe code, you will see things like this happen. You have this whole community to like, hey, I'm stuck here. And, you can save it for the next meeting. Sometimes folks are online, whatever that is. We're there, just share. Yeah, definitely share.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind, so it's like I'm just following right now. I'm just observing what's happening, so I'll just cut. Okay. So yeah, it took a while for me to download everything, so that's why I got behind with everything. So I didn't get it ahead. I should have got it ahead, but I couldn't follow, so I'm just observing right now. I'll rewind the whole video.
Yeah.
After and then do it, but so right now I'm just observing what it's doing.
As long
It's
as
all new to me, so I'm just
No,
takes time.
and Riel, same boat. Like I have VS Code on my work laptop. I don't have it. I've never even accessed VS Code on my personal laptop. So Ryan, as you were going, and I didn't want to derail everything because also sometimes I think like a demo, right? Like sometimes I think seeing it and understanding the navigation sort of helps me prepare for like when I'm doing it. I don't necessarily need to be doing it one for one in real time. Sometimes seeing it and then going back to Riel, to your point, watching the videos, I've been capturing screenshots, like that kind of stuff helps me take my time later, but I've already seen it once. So it's kind of like a walk down memory lane type of thing.
Yeah, Ryan, I was going to ask, can you switch from Flash now to something else?
Yes. So let's just go. I'm pretty sure I've got Anthropic in there.
Yeah.
You can also do Open Router, which is a way of having just one API key for every model you could ever want. But yeah, let's just go to Sonnet 4.5. Resume task. Continue installing the tools. And I think this will be a good illustration of model difference because I think it'll stop being so confused and just start doing stuff. So there's its thoughts. I need to install. Let me install these dependencies. Wants to execute this command. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So I think there's some issues with the free tier of Gemini not being as generous as it used to be. Because in the past, when we would use the free tier, you wouldn't run into those issues so fast.
Yeah.
But now I'm actually paying for it. So, see, I probably spent 10 cents on Claude having to catch itself up with everything. So it's doing all these npm installs. That makes a ton of sense. That's how every project ever starts, is you install a bunch of stuff that your project's going to work with. And then you're going to go from there. But yeah, so this was state of the art in late 2024. Uh, and we were religiously watching our API bills. Sometimes we'd spend like $5 in a whole hour and say, "Oh my God, this lifestyle, it's unsustainable." Um, but one reason that we're kind of a Claude cult is that they have subscription tiers.
Mm-hmm.
So either $20 a month for Pro, $100 for 5 times Pro, and then $200 for 20x Pro. And basically, it gives you usage of a tool that's very much like this, but without paying per usage. So if you're one of the Pro subscribers for $20 a month, you'll get an certain amount of usage per day and per week. And once you get past that usage, it'll just say, "We're cutting you off until tomorrow. You've used as much as you possibly can, and we are only willing to lose so much money on your account." So that's part of why we are such Claude users, is it lets you no longer have to worry about this per usage cost monitoring thing, and lets you just say, "All right, my Claude bill for the month is going to be $20, and if I have to stop when I have to stop, I'll do something else. I'll step away from the computer for a while." Or you'll say, "I never want to step away from this. This is great. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I'm willing to upgrade my subscription from
Right.
$20 a month to the $100 a month and keep chasing it." And for transparency, I'm on the $100 a month plan, and I use it for work every single day, in addition to a bunch of side projects. And I have hit the cap one time in the past 3 months.
Mm.
So the limits are pretty generous. And so that way you're not looking at this 40-cent bill and thinking, "Oh, 40 cents, that's not much. I'll keep going." And then an hour later is at $5. You're thinking, "Oh man, gotta slow down." So, okay, it wants to edit this file. So it'll show you the files it's making. This is your Prisma schema file. I have no idea what Prisma is. But Gemini thought it was a good idea, and so now Claude's kind of stuck with it. So it's going to say, "Great." But yeah, Matt's correct. You don't need to know. As long as the model knows, then you're good. So I'm just going to say, "Yes, you can edit that file. Go edit your heart out." It's going to make a SQLite database, which is cool. That's just a database in a single file, which is easy for rapid development. But again, you don't need to know. And if you do need to know, you can just ask it.
Yeah.
All right, here's an important part. It's making a .env file. This is where all your secrets go. So because the app I'm proposing to build has AI in it, I would want a separate API key for this app, because part of the app I'm building is AI powered UX UI component generation and auditing. And so because AI is part of the app, it wants another API key. Because as we know, API key is how you get AI to do stuff. So because my app wants an API key, it's going to store it in this .env file, and we're going to keep that env file super secret forever. Never share it anywhere, never push it anywhere. It's only going to live in our own computer, and it's never ever going to leave. And so eventually, if I was actually building this project, I would want to put my API key from Anthropic in there, and that's how the project would know how to send requests that the AI can actually get. So this is pretty much it. It's got the list of stuff. So it's got 4 out of its 9 initial tasks done. We're still under $1, and it's just building the files. I'm just approving it. In the early days, when the models were worse and you couldn't trust them as much, I would actually go ahead and read this and say, "This doesn't seem good. This seems bad. Okay, I'll do this other thing." But now I pretty much just trust it and say safe. That's the vibe code spirit.
Yeah. And as Ryan said, if you have questions, you can ask it. You can ask it in plan mode, or you can, if you're trying to save your tokens, go to another LLM, like you can ask ChatGPT, what does this message mean? Like even when you saw the error messages, now you know now because we told you, but if you're not understanding what this error means, ask another ask Klein, ask another LLM what this means, and sometimes you get to it.
Yeah, here's more of its thoughts. Its answers to me. Good progress. I've set up this. Now I need to do that. Let me create the curated color palettes. And there it goes. It would go faster if I wasn't on a 2017 MacBook Pro that's trying to run 10 other things at the same time. So your mileage will hopefully vary. But this is what it looked like.
Yeah, and you're not doing a small deal right now. It doesn't, I think a lot of us started off with something simpler than the
Oh, yes, yes,
than the
yes.
tastemaker.
Yeah, this is a
That's
big
true.
project that you're
Right.
doing.
Like
No, it's true. This is just the most recent PRD I had. A more simple one might have been my real estate decision maker app, which was just like a very simple calculator saying when is it good to rent versus buy, and you punch in what are the mortgage rates right now, what's the average rate of return on the S&P 500, and then it tells you, yeah, after 5 years you should sell your house and put it in stocks. You're like, great, thank you.
Real, you might need that calculator for your clients. Just help them think through.
I know.
Can I have that product, please? Yes.
I got 95% of the way done with that dang thing. I just lost interest after I actually bought the house I was looking at. So, but it's pretty much done. I should hand that off to a new MVP Club version
you should.
and say, I bequeath this to you. Sell it for $5. Give me 50%. But you push this across the finish line because I'm done with it. I've got bigger fish to fry. But I got it on my phone. That was a proud moment of 2015, 2025 when I built my first iPhone app and got it on my actual phone and opened it, showed it to my real estate agent, and she said, "That's so cool. There's nothing like that. You're a genius."
And wait, you vibe coded that mobile app?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see if I still have it on my phone.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of people in the community now get apps on phones through vibe coding. It's totally in the cards.
Oh yeah, I deleted
you all
it.
could do that within the next 3 months.
I
Yeah.
deleted it too much
That is
space,
cool.
Like I should easily spend up. I was thinking when I first started, I did that recipe thing, and I'm like, I need to try to recode it, that idea through now that I have Claude and more advanced understanding of what I was doing. But yeah, that's something that's like totally usable.
So one thing I would recommend, I'm glad you're here to give me feedback on this. The PRD I am using was for a pretty major level project. Let me see if I can find it because I deployed it and everything. It's a real life app. It exists, but it's complicated. So what I would recommend, get your reps in with a simple project like real estate calculator, or it's just like an easy decision maker app, preferably one where you don't even need a database. You don't need like users to log in and verify and everything. Like those features are great. Claude is going to bang those out no problem. But it's nice to build up the muscle of doing this with a simple game, a browser-based game. You open it up, you play it, you tell it to make changes. You see the changes get made in real time. It's beautiful. So I wouldn't say go for your dream app from the start because you're going to learn so much by making your first two rinky dink apps that the process of making your real good idea app is going to go so much smoother after you've gotten your reps in and you've learned a thing or two by building smaller projects.
The only thing I would add to that is do a small project, but make it a real project.
Yeah.
So that you have like a clear vision of what success looks like to evaluate whether the AI is succeeding, because that's going to help get better at managing the AI. Grace.
All right, so maybe not lowercase r rinky dink app, but make it more complex than weather checker, but maybe not as complex
Well,
as
it's
Tastemaker.
it's not even the complexity level. It's just like having a clear vision of what success looks like, even with a simple app, just so you know whether or not the AI succeeded. Because if you just have a vague vision of like, make me an app that calculates the right size of pizza to buy for 10 people, uh, it'll make that, but you won't really get to test your skills steering it unless you have some clear requirements. Like, I want there to be a pizza icon, and I want to have red and white checker colors in the background, and so on. So give yourself a clear vision, and then see if you can hit it.
Mhm.
That actually could be a fun app. How many pizzas app? That's
Oh
gotta
my God.
exist.
HR departments everywhere need that app because they need to plan the pizza party. Elementary school teachers, hello?
Mm-hmm.
Fifth graders, how many pizzas do I get? I don't know. Do you want to bring some home for yourself? Great. 7 mediums from Domino's equals 5 larges from Papa John's. Pizza arbitrage app. As we all know, a medium is not a medium. You know? All right, so it's building my app. I should have chosen an easier app so that we could start opening it and checking stuff out.
Yeah.
Ryan, you could always pause it and say, "Hey, make the UI real quick," you know, or if it's added
Yeah, I
instead.
will
Yeah.
accept the next. I'll accept the next thing. I accept this, but let's start running the app so I can start looking at it. Do whatever necessary to make it openable ASAP. We can build the rest. All right. I think that means accept the change. Great. The user wants me to start doing this. Great.
Sometimes it always feels like it's telling on you. It's talking to someone else. It's so funny. The
All right.
user
Save.
I'm going to blah blah blah.
All right. Now it's just giving me coming soon things. Great. Let me quickly create a simple homepage and start the dev server. Thank you. You're right. So if you were getting impatient, you could just tell it, look, this is too much. This is too much all at once. Take it in
Well,
bite-sized pieces. Let's
You
go.
always say you want an MVP, and like that's phase.
Yeah.
I've
No,
said
that's true.
I want an MVP of this, and I want to do it. I want to do it in phases, and so phase one, phase two, and then
Yes.
by phase one and phase two, I've got something visual.
Yeah, my PRD was 10,000 things. So for some more context, the PRD I made was super thorough because we were just exploring a tool that's taking over the AI world by fire and might actually be dying soon because Anthropic doesn't like it anymore. It's called the Ralph Wiggum plugin. And basically, it's a way to just keep running your AI coding agent endlessly until the full list of things is done. And so the dream is you make a super thorough document, you give it everything you could possibly want, then you say, hey, Ralph, go do it. I'm going to go to bed. And then in the morning, Ralph was working endlessly, 6 hours at a time, and finished it. And so I was building this tool as a test of that to see, hey, if I describe something throughout an hour's worth of PRD sessions, will it do it? And sure enough, it did. It did a pretty good job. I then followed up with 2 or 3 more days of dev effort. But that's why I ended up with a 700 line PRD. Is I explicitly wanted it to be massive and comprehensive, whereas best practices would probably be the opposite of phase it out so that you can see the smallest possible thing. When I was teaching programming, I would say make the smallest testable thing, then test it. Don't do what I just did, which was blindly make 10 things at a time and then test it. Test the smallest testable thing. Keep going. Iterate. Small cycles. So it's ready. It says it's on this page. I'm gonna click that link, and we're gonna see what the heck's going on. See if it opens. It's compiling. So it's gathering its stuff together. And cool. I'm going to switch my share to it so that we can see what the heck it built. And so there it is. Taste Maker. Extract your design taste through AI-powered A/B comparisons. So the dream of this app was, I'm no graphic designer, I'm no UX person. I don't know how to describe a style library or components or brand guidelines, but I know what I like, darn it. So Tastemaker is going to show me A versus B. Which one do you like for this app? What's your app? What are you building? And then I'm going to keep saying, I like that, I like that, I like that. And then at the end of the session, I've got a big style guideline that AI can use when it's building my app and saying, Ryan prefers rounded corners with great radius 10. Ryan prefers sans serif fonts. Great. All those things that I don't really care about, but I care about what my app looks like. It can know that. So that's the goal of the app. It's built off of the observation that AI doesn't have very good UX judgment. So this extracts your human judgment into a machine readable format. And my audience is vibe coders so that they can build things that look unique and different as opposed to just going with the generic, whatever the AI says, because everyone's going to build apps that look identical unless they do otherwise. So I like option A. I'm a big green guy. I like gold too. So that's it. Oh, comparison two. All right. So which one do you like better? I like mint fresh. I like navy corporate. I like steel industrial. So just going through a bunch of different A/B comparisons to find out what I like. I still like B. I still like B. I still like B. So okay, we ran into our first bug. It's not ending. Right? It just keeps going after 10 comparisons. So I would then go back to the AI and say, great, I used the color picker. It was pretty cool, but then it didn't stop after 10 comparisons. Please make sure it stops after 10 and forces you to lock one in. So that's it. Lock in my colors. Keep going. And now phase 2 is coming soon because you all demanded that I just show something. So great. That's where the app is at this point. But that was pretty cool. That gave you enough to react to. And you could say, I didn't like this, I didn't like the other thing, whatever. But that's your cycle, because then now I can go back to visual climb there and say, awesome. The color exploration bit had 2 issues. 1, it did not stop at 10 comparisons, and 2, it did not end up actually showing a final result or palette.
And also, real quick, just because you really should be doing this, does it tell you like the hex, or you know how there's like a code within the color and that means something in the like Pantone world or whatever? It should tell you what those are too, so that if you actually went to make like swag or products or other things off of it, you already had your exact matches for your branding colors. I really like this product. Sorry, this is good.
So that is the real life of this app. Is it outputs exactly what you're talking about. It creates an AI skill that AIs can load that contains all the exact details of what your color palette is, what border widths you like, all of that stuff. So the real life version of this is deployed. It took me about 3 days, thanks to the Ralph app.
So what you're saying is your next app is Make My Swag. That's your next app that builds off of this.
So as mentioned, the cycle of development on vibe coding, once you get experienced with it, especially, is so fast that I have already abandoned this project 2 weeks after I built it, put it out there, fixed 2 or 3 problems with it, and now I'm on to the next thing. So there's a bit of a problem where I need to start handing the projects off to people in MVP Club and saying, congratulations, you're Chief Technological Officer of Tastemaker Inc. Just make sure you cut me a check when it sells. But otherwise, like, here it goes. I built it. So I think that's something that Matt and I are thinking about for the long range future of MVP Club is like, let's get apps across the finish line and turn them into businesses and see how far they go. And one of them is going to take off, maybe. Or they all just find these cult niche audiences that we can be hyper responsive to. So Matt's making a game, and he's got a Discord server set up for the game for people to give feedback as he goes, and he's sharing his updates as he makes them in that Discord server. Um, so it's just a great playtesting community. But one of the possible futures we see out of vibe coding is that you can build an app that has an audience of like 50 people. And that's all you need because making changes and developing is so fast. That like if I had 50 people who liked this app, that's all I need. Like as long as they send me loving messages saying, "Hey, this is awesome. I would like this other tweak, please." I can just say, "Great, Claude, make this tweak." And 2 minutes later, it's done. It's pushed. The version is out there. And I DM them again saying, "That was a great idea. Thanks for using the app, buddy. Here you go." So that's a possible future with vibe coding that we see is a lot more bespoke community niche software. So that instead of everybody using Jira, there's 10,000 people using Jira, but for dog veterinarians. And there's one person running the dog veterinarian Jira app. And it's just so specific to their industry and their use case and their users because the cost of niching down to a specific user is rapidly approaching zero. And it's fun. It's more fun that way when you have 50 people who care about your app and are that you're in direct contact with, that you're in the Mighty Networks channel about beta users for Tastemaker. Like that's what it takes. So that's the philosophical soapbox we can end on is like this can enable building things for the smallest possible audience, even just yourself. That's something Matt's on lately a lot is building tools just for myself. And a lot of power vibe coders are doing that too. It's just like I have this thing I want to do at work. I know my company's security team is never going to go for this. I know it's never going to go anywhere. I don't want to share it with anybody, but the cost of building it for myself is about an hour of my time and it's just fun. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to build the app that does the thing on my own computer. That's what I want to do. And that's it. The data doesn't have to go anywhere. It doesn't have to be hosted anywhere. It doesn't have to expose anything because it's all on your own computer, which is your own business as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, you just make it on your own computer. All it is moving files around on your own computer. So yeah, that is the process and iteration cycle of vibe coding. You start with a clear document. You don't do what I did, which is like try to have it do everything all at once. You create it in phases. Tanasha's right. It's all about small, bite-sized phases so that you can iterate fast on it and give it more responsive feedback as you build it. Because trying to steer it back on course after it, if I just hit accept for the next hour and you watch me do that, it's going to make a lot of bad decisions. And going back on those is going to be very, very hard. So the final version of Tastemaker that I ended up with had a very different color palette exploration theme than this did. So I didn't really love that experience. Like it was a good start, but it wasn't what I actually wanted to end up with, which is more like to like this, that, or the other thing. And then here's a few variants on that. Find a first color you like, find a second color that goes with that color, find a third color that goes with those two colors. Like the thing I actually wanted was very different, but because I was demoing just blindly accepting, it didn't end up giving me what I wanted. So I think we're good. I think I can cut off my Anthropic API cost at $1 here. No need to open a tip jar today. But that's why I like Claude Code, because then I've already paid for my usage on Claude Code. Like it's my $20 a month. It's my $100 a month. I just keep going until it tells me I can't, and that way I can just do work stuff simultaneously with live coding stuff on two different computers, just running endlessly. Um, so yeah, I hope that gave you enough to start with.
Thanks, Ryan.
I hope that was illustrative. I'm glad you thought Tastemaker was a good idea. I'm sure somebody else is doing it. I'm offering Figma to acquire Tastemaker for $10 million. I will not
Let's
accept
go. Let's
less.
go.
You take us all on a
Um,
trip, please. Thank you.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'll
All you
say-
have to do
MVP
is
abroad.
take it to market, right? I bequeath it to the community, take it to market, and cut me that check whenever Figma acquires us. But yeah, that's the dream.
Awesome.
This was so helpful. And I have to say, like, as you guys, because I know you're building out MVP Club, it feels like there's a sweet spot, right? Like, imagine if there was 50 people on this, which I think at some point could be your goal, right? Like maybe you do want to have it like for the masses. The dialogue, the Q&A, that would be very different. That is not the same when you go to like you. I think you need to think about what scale looks like, or maybe just what tiers look like.
That's a good point. No, I appreciate that feedback, because this is our usual, between this and like maybe 12 people is our kind of usual size of meeting. But we do want to have more people, help more people scale it. One thing we've talked about is like, let's get a lot of the tutorials into video format so people can get going. And then
Yeah.
we use these sessions for like, hey, you've tried it. Now come and bring all your problems and we'll help people get
Because you've
going.
already downloaded all the things, you have
Yeah,
access to
yeah.
all the tools. Totally. Since Monday night, I've easily told 10 people at Comcast easily.
Oh,
Like
amazing.
literally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think that I feel that there's a method to the madness. And I feel that Ryan, Jill, and Matt have things in mind where, who are our frequent flyers that can be agents or help or support the team, kind of split up the help a little bit. So I think they're kind of thinking ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's both trying to have foresight and then being responsive. So appreciate the feedback, and we'll share the video. So like Riel and Amelia, as you're trying it out and moving forward, like the channels are here for async support. And next week we'll be back at kind of our normal, just open meetings. Monday is vague, not vaguely, but Monday is like our tool exploration. But if you've been trying some things out and you want to come talk about that, also for that. And then Wednesday is our demo day. So hopefully on next Wednesday you'll bring something and say, even if it's your code, and just like, I haven't even ran it, but here's where I got. That would be a cool thing to come and share. So, what we try to do is like, you're gonna see quickly as you get a little, familiar with the tools. This is gonna be way more of an emotional and motivational journey than a technical one. The technical stuff is gonna start going in the background because you're gonna get fluent with just, hey, I'm working with Claude or I'm working with Klein and it's just cooking. And then the things you have to manage are like, like anything else. Like I said I was going to spend an hour on it today and I did. Or, there was like this big error and I got stuck with it and I got really mad. And so how do I like come back and stay motivated? And that's also like a big part of what we do. Like I just keep getting excited. Like I want to show people this thing, I made a little progress. I got this new little feature that, that people care about seeing. And that has been really fun. Like Tanasha's showed us a couple projects in the past month. Dan has two, Ryan has. So like having that audience of people who are going to give you feedback and celebrate the wins, it's just a lot of fun. Well, that's my 2 cents. Ryan, you had yours. I know we're almost at time here, but yeah, questions, feedback, hopes.
Ryan, I really liked how detailed that walkthrough was. And at the same time, it was cool seeing a lesser model, lower model, whatever we want to call it, right? A less equipped model. Like I don't get to see those a lot actually in my day to day. So it's a good litmus test, right? Of like, yeah, like you are going to get different results. Models matter, right? So that was even a good experiment. So tonight was really fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I was teaching programming for 2 or 3 years, and it was easy to get comfortable just making mistakes and doing things wrong. So you learn more from that really when you're watching somebody do something is when they do something wrong and they explain what happened and why it didn't work, and then you see them fix it and you see them their troubleshooting method. That's actually what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. I appreciate you riding along on that journey. I would also say, just if you are interested in getting started with this sort of stuff, Claude Code, really get a Claude membership and do it. The sooner the better. They recently added Claude Code in the app, so that you don't even have to open the terminal. Something we found is people have a big barrier about opening the terminal for whatever reason. It just feels like this is something I'm not comfortable with. This isn't me. This isn't who I am. It's okay, great. They brought the terminal to you, and now you can do the exact same thing, but in the same chat interface that the rest of the Claude app has. So just drop the $20 a month, start using the desktop app, and see how far you get using Claude Code on that thing. Matt's probably going to do a getting started on that too. But yeah, I think next time we do a getting started session, we'll probably just agree amongst ourselves. That's the new tech stack. Just tell people to do it. It's not available on the free tier is the problem. Like we were trying really hard to make sure it's a free tier of everything. But as you saw, the usage limits have gotten down on the free tiers. So we could have had like GPT free tier and done like pasting things. So yeah, we just didn't want our first demo of getting into vibe coding saying, get out your wallet for an API key. But at the end of the day, it's worth it for Claude for a month for sure. You won't regret that. And then you're just going to be hooked and get on the higher level. My one regret is we don't have an affiliate link with Claude because, of course, it's so good it doesn't need affiliate links. Like you become an acolyte and you want to share it.
And like if you're going to try to take something to market with Claude Code, like does it have Stripe integration? Like does it have other, like can you take payments? Like, are you taking that fully live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it builds out all of that stuff for you. So I have my AI coaching app is like, by the end of this month, I'm going to submit it to the App Store and it'll have everything it could possibly need. So signing in with Apple, signing in with Google, Stripe payment processing, Stripe subscription processing. It's all there. It can do everything you could possibly ask it to do.
Okay.
And the limiting factor is the amount of times you have to give feedback on it and test it.
Mm.
So that's something I hope the community also becomes as a built-in pool of beta testers for each other's apps. When you come back in a month and say, I built this thing, I'm going to want to use it. I'm going to want to give you feedback on it. So that's part of the value too.
The final thing I'll say, I know we're vibe coding here, but something I tell people I work with more and more, vibe coding is just going to become the new way of working. Like there won't be anything you do at work that isn't vibe coding because you're going to be talking to an LLM that's just going to be talking to your computer and doing things for you. And that's what vibe coding is. But it'll also do things like, look at these 400 spreadsheets and organize them for me. But it'll just do that on your computer and it'll have been a vibe coding experience. It may not have shown you any code it wrote, but it might have written itself a little script and a little app to do that task. So I think we'll see within a year or two, these LLMs will just become the operating system on your computer, and you won't even have like a Windows or an Apple OS UI. It'll just be like, I talk to my computer with an LLM and it does whatever I want. So getting this skill going and getting familiar with how to work in this way is fun for building apps, and it's also just like probably the future of using a computer. So it's a cool starting point.
Yeah, that's actually a big.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
That's actually a big reason why I included some of the material in our first onboard session, is because that is going to be the way we're going to have to learn to communicate with our LLMs to make it work better for us, right? Being able to clearly state what your goals are, what your intentions are, identify some of those key factors like goals, metrics, and things like that, only provides all the context that would help your AI succeed in whatever it is you task it with. So yeah, a lot of the context that Ryan demonstrated in today's demo is really important to kind of grasp in order to really like successfully build something that actually is aligned with what you want. So